The anxious partner's quiet. Awakening that destroys the avoidant. It's a Tuesday night. Nothing special. You're sitting on the edge of your bed, phone in your hand, staring at a message you've typed out 3 different times, each version softer than the last, each one designed not to push her, not to scare her, not to make her pull away again. And then something strange happens. You delete it, not in anger, not in protest, not because you're trying to play some game, you just delete it. Put the phone down, and for the first time in months, maybe years, you don't feel the urge to pick it back up. Your mind is quiet for once, but underneath that quiet, something is moving. Why am I always the one reaching? Why do I shrink every time she goes cold? Why have I been treating her peace like it's more important than mine? Who was I before I started chasing her? I want you to hear me, bro. What you're feeling right now isn't a breakdown. It isn't you giving up. It isn't you becoming bitter or cold or finally manning up the way the internet tells you to. Because here's the truth nobody told you. The moment that destroys an avoidant isn't when you leave them. It's the quiet moment you stop abandoning yourself for them. And they can feel it from across the city before you've said a single word. The anxious partner's awakening doesn't look loud. It doesn't look angry. It doesn't look like a final speech or a grand exit. It looks like a man who simply stopped performing, stopped explaining, stopped reaching. And that exact shift is the one thing an avoidant's entire defense system was never built to survive. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happens inside her mind when your anxious energy goes quiet, why your awakening hits her harder than any breakup ever could, and why the calm version of you is the one she'll never recover from. Let's get into it. Most guys believe that to win an avoidant back, they have to become more impressive, more distant, more mysterious. They study no contact rules, they lift heavier, they post the gym selfies, they try to manufacture a version of themselves that will finally make her chase. But here's the real truth. Avoidants aren't destroyed by your performance. They're destroyed by your peace. See, an avoidance nervous system was trained long before you ever met her to expect one specific dynamic. Someone reaching, someone needing, someone slightly off balance because of her. That imbalance is how she felt safe. As long as you were the anxious one, she got to be the calm one. As long as you were chasing, she got to be the prize. As long as you needed her validation, she had power without ever risking her own heart. Her whole sense of control depended on your dysregulation. So when you finally wake up, when your hand stops shaking before you text her, when her silence stops ruining your day, when you stop refreshing her stories at midnight, something invisible shifts in the space between you. She doesn't see it yet, but she feels it. Her gut tells her something is different about him. Her energy shifts. She doesn't know why she keeps thinking about you when you've gone quiet, but her nervous system does. You've stopped feeding the dynamic she was addicted to, and now her wall has nothing to push against. Not the loud awakening of a man who's posting transformation videos. Not the performative awakening of a man who's trying to make her notice. Not the bitter awakening of a man who's punishing her with distance, but the quiet, grounded, I finally came home to myself awakening that doesn't need an audience. That's the awakening that ends her control. And here are the 7 quiet shifts inside you that destroy her defenses, one by one. 1. The day her mood stops running your day. Most guys wake up and check her energy before they check their own. Did she text back? Was her last message warm or cold? Did she leave a heart or just a thumbs up? Their entire day rises or falls based on her temperature. Here's the part nobody talks about, man. Avoidants don't just notice this. They're addicted to it. Your emotional weather being controlled by hers is what makes her feel safe in the relationship. It confirms her power. It tells her nervous system, I don't have to be vulnerable, because he's vulnerable enough for both of us. But the day you wake up and check your own state first, the day her cold reply doesn't ruin your breakfast, the day her one-word answer doesn't crash your focus, something shifts in the invisible thread between you. Wrong move. Opening her chat first thing in the morning to gauge where you stand. Right move. Opening your own life first, your training, your work, your purpose, and meeting her energy only after you've met your own. Her brain registers it before her conscious mind does. She'll text and feel the calm coming back through the screen. Her gut says, why doesn't he sound the same anymore? That's the shift that turns her safety into uncertainty. 2. The end of the over-explanation. Most guys, when an avoidant goes cold or distant, immediately go into explanation mode. Long paragraphs. Hey, I just want to clarify what I meant earlier. I'm sorry if that came across wrong. I wasn't trying to push, They write essays defending themselves before she's even accused them of anything. And here's what changes everything. Every over-explanation is a quiet confession. It tells her you're scared. It tells her your reality is fragile. It tells her her opinion of you matters more than your opinion of you. Avoidants feed on that, not because they're villains, but because their wall depends on you being the one questioning yourself. The day you stop explaining is the day the dynamic flips. Not arrogant silence, not cold silence, not I'm punishing you silence, but the simple silence of a man who no longer feels the need to defend a self he's at peace with. Wrong response. I just want to make sure you understand I didn't mean it that way. I would never. Right response. I said what I said. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. Then nothing. No follow-up text 3 hours later. No, are we good? Check in. Her brain says he didn't fold. He's never not folded before. That's emotional caffeine for an avoidance mind, because now, for the first time, she can't predict you. 3. The quiet reclaiming of your time. This is the one most guys completely miss. Your time is your energy made visible. And avoidants read your time like a polygraph. Most guys, when they're anxiously attached, keep their entire schedule on standby. She might text. She might want to hang out. She might be in the mood to talk. So they keep their evenings open, their weekends loose, their phone always charged. They live in a state of low-grade availability that she registers as desperation, even when no one ever says it out loud. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you start filling your time, not to impress her, not to make her jealous, but because you actually have a life you give a damn about, her nervous system catches the shift instantly. You're not busy, you're occupied. There's a difference. Busy is a performance. Occupied is a man whose calendar is full of things that mean something to him. She texts at 8 p.m., you see it at 10 because you were at the gym, then in a deep conversation with a friend, then reading. You reply when you reply. Not strategically, not punishingly, just genuinely later, because your life kept moving while she was the one watching the clock for once. Her gut whispers, when did he become someone with a life I'm not the center of? That's the moment her grip starts slipping. 4. The death of the bid for reassurance. Most guys ask for reassurance in 100 small ways without realizing it. You still love me, right? Are we okay? You sure nothing's wrong? Tell me you missed me. Every one of those questions is a tiny withdrawal from the emotional bank account, and avoidants are exquisitely sensitive to that withdrawal pattern. Here's the thing. Reassurance seeking isn't love. It's a symptom, and the avoidant in your life has been quietly tallying every bid you've made, every "are we good" message, every search for confirmation. Each one confirms her unconscious story. He needs me more than I need him. I'm in control. The day you stop bidding is the day her math breaks. Not because you started playing cold, not because you started withholding, not because you read some pickup article that told you to act unbothered, but because you genuinely became unbothered on the inside where she can actually feel it. Wrong move, texting. You've been quiet today? Everything all right between us? Right move. Living your day, training, eating, working, being. And when she finally reaches out, responding from a place that doesn't need to verify anything, her brain replays it on a loop. He didn't ask. He's never not asked. And in that one absence, your value in her mind quietly doubles. 5. The silence that stops being anxious. Most guys think silence is silence. It isn't. There are two kinds, and an avoidant can tell them apart in seconds. Anxious silence is loud. It's the silence of a man checking his phone every 6 minutes, drafting messages he doesn't send, lying in bed wondering if she's mad, refreshing her last scene. He's not speaking, but his entire energy is screaming through the airwaves. She feels that silence as need wearing a costume. And here's what destroys her. When your silence finally stops being anxious, when the quiet between texts isn't a held breath, it's just quiet. When you go 3 hours without checking your phone because you genuinely forgot it existed. When her name showing up on your screen doesn't make your stomach drop anymore. That's grounded silence. That's the silence of a man whose nervous system isn't tied to her anymore. Wrong silence, leaving her on red for 2 hours while internally panicking. Right silence, leaving her on red for 2 hours because you were genuinely living and remembering to reply when you remembered. Her gut tells her his silence used to feel like a question. Now it feels like an answer. And that answer terrifies her in a way she can't put into words. 6. The return of the things you abandoned. Most guys, deep in an anxious attachment, slowly stop being themselves. The hobbies fade, the friendships go quiet, the dreams get put on hold. Without even noticing it, they shrink their world down to her schedule, her moods, her availability, until they look in the mirror one day and don't recognize the man staring back. And here's the part that hits her hardest, bro. Avoidants are drawn to men with a center of gravity. That's what attracted her in the first place. The fact that you had your own world, your own pulse, your own things. And the more you abandoned all of it for her, the less attracted she became, even as she got more comfortable. The quiet awakening is when you start coming home to the version of you she first met. The gym you stopped going to, the friends you stopped calling, the project you shelved, the book you put down, the version of you who had a life before her and is calmly building one beyond her. She doesn't see the gym sessions. She doesn't see the late night reading. She doesn't see the coffee with the old friend. But she feels them through every text, every silence, every interaction. The density of your life shows up in your energy whether you announce it or not. Her brain says, he sounds like himself again, the self I first wanted. And then, almost in the same breath, why does that scare me? That's the shift that turns her comfort into craving. 7. The realization that you'd be okay without her. This is the final shift, the one that ends her control completely. Most guys spend the entire relationship secretly terrified of losing her. Every fight has that terror underneath it. Every reach for reassurance is rooted in it. Every accommodation, every walked back boundary, every swallowed need, all of it traces back to the same buried fear. If she leaves, I won't survive it. And avoidance can smell that fear. It's the entire foundation their power stands on. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your awakening isn't complete when you stop loving her. Your awakening is complete when you still love her, and you finally know in your bones that you'd be okay without her anyway. That's not coldness. That's not bitterness. That's not, I don't care anymore. It's the deeper thing. I care, and I'm still whole. I choose you, and I don't need you. I want this, and I'm not afraid to lose it. Not detachment, not indifference, not the performative I'm so over it energy of a man who's clearly not, but the grounded, peaceful, I'd be fine either way energy of a man who has finally located his own center. And here's what happens to her in that exact moment. She feels it before you ever say it. Her brain whispers, he doesn't need me anymore. He still wants me, but he doesn't need me. And for an avoidant, that's the single most attractive and most terrifying thing a man can become. Because now, for the first time, she's the one with something to lose. She's the one who has to risk. She's the one who has to feel, and she has no playbook for that. That's the shift that doesn't just end her control. It rewrites every story she ever told herself about love. So here's what this is really about, man. This isn't about destroying her. This isn't a revenge arc. This isn't about making her hurt the way you hurt. This is about you finally understanding that the quiet awakening isn't something you do to her. It's something that happens in you, and she just happens to be in the blast radius. You don't need to perform it. You don't need to announce it. You don't need her to witness it. You just need to live it. When you internalize this, you stop trying to change her and start changing the dynamic by changing yourself. You stop reaching outward for the calm she could never give you. You start generating it from within. And the moment that calm becomes real, the entire relationship reorganizes around it whether she stays or not. These aren't tactics. This is just what a grounded man naturally becomes when he stops abandoning himself. And here's the final truth I want you to carry, bro. The avoidant doesn't break when you walk away. She breaks when she realizes you stopped walking toward her and started walking toward yourself. You don't have to leave her to destroy her control. You just have to stop leaving you. Because the moment your nervous system stops needing hers to feel safe, the entire game ends. Not because you ended it, but because the version of you she had power over no longer exists. If this hits something deep, go watch the next video on your screen. What an avoidant feels in the 30 days after you finally stop chasing. Because once you understand what your awakening does to her in real time, you need to see exactly how it unfolds in her mind day by day. That video closes the loop on everything you just heard. Stay grounded, stay quiet, stay becoming.